The tarot story is about Jesus' story. Any story that you can think of in the Bible, you can see it laid out in the tarot deck.
Has tarot cards ever warned you that something bad may actually happen soon?
Yeah.
Oh, you think they could have killed somebody?
I do. They could have. She runs to the balcony and she basically has my friend like pushed over. Like she could have pushed her off of the balcony. She was like, I did some magic, and she said, I let the wrong spirit in. Basically saying that she let a demon in and now, it's in her.
All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the HORRORble podcast. Tonight, we have someone very, very special. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Tell us your name, where you from.
I am Solaris the Hii Priestess. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I call myself a metaphysical therapist. I'm an author, I'm a chef, and yeah.
Spooky chef, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to go into a little bit about what you do, but before that, I want to talk about you as a kid.
Okay.
So what kind of kid were you? Were you always into this spiritual stuff?
Absolutely. I really got into spiritual, like spooky stuff. I remember when the Craft came out, and I was like, yeah,
The
movie Craft. I was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. Like, I don't know. I wanted to be
about like 3 witches or something?
Yeah. Well, 4 friends that were witches, yeah. I wanted to be a witch real bad. So I started a coven in elementary school with 2 of my friends.
Elementary school?
Yeah. I remember. And I was looking in the dictionary in elementary school about like what the definition of a witch was. And I was like, wow, it says that we have to like pledge allegiance to the devil. And I was like, I don't know if I could do that, but let's just call on the elements.
You doing this at recess or?
No, like the little play carpet that they have. Like, yeah, I was.
But how'd you get your hands on a devil worshiping book?
It was the dictionary, and I was looking up the word witch. And then I feel like I went to something about the devil, and I was like, I don't want to do that part, but I just want to be a witch. So I had me and my 2 friends create a little coven or a pact. And I was like, yeah.
All right, hold on.
What?
Were the teachers aware of this?
No.
So y'all was just sneaking off, just doing
they thought
things.
we were playing. They were like, oh, everybody's playing. They didn't know.
So what about your family? Are they spiritual? Were they spiritual?
Yeah, so honestly, on both sides of my family, they would like to say that they're religious people. On my dad's side, we're Creole. And I remember my grandpa telling me that our family in Louisiana practiced voodoo and that he wouldn't allow us to meet them. So that was supposed to scare me, but it didn't. It actually like made me feel interested. And I was like, maybe that's why I have a pull on the stuff that I have a pull on, because I have family. It's in my bloodline that's something that we practice.
How open were they with you about it?
Not really that open. It was just my grandpa. But my grandpa was like super into ghosts and spiritual shit. Like he would talk to us about ghost stories every night and how he used to see ghosts. I have 5 uncles and 4 aunties, and they all had different spiritual gifts. Like all of them would see things, they would hear things. I remember my uncle would tell me that something would be attacking him in his sleep and he would wake up with a bloody nose, and that was just normalized at my grandparents' house.
He was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, he was. And my grandpa, my grandma would lock their door and have like an actual double lock and be like, don't come in our room if you hear something.
Hold on. Okay.
Yeah.
So were they telling you that all these people in your family had these gifts?
No.
Or you just found out over time?
Yeah, it was just normalized. Like, oh yeah, we saw a ghost, or we saw this old white lady that was getting water from the kitchen or something like that. Like, that was just normal. Like, we talked about ghost stories as like a pastime.
Yeah.
So I thought it was normal that every family did that.
You said something very interesting a little earlier. You said that you had imaginary friends, right? And I think this is kind of a topic that people kind of brush, I guess, to the side or push under the rug. There's a lot of kids that say they have imaginary friends. right? That they're not physically there, but they see them, the parents don't see them, and then the parents are like, oh, whatever. What do you think that actually is, though?
I think that sometimes it's a child's spirit guide. Like early on, it could be a spirit guide, it could be an ancestor, or it could be an actual spirit that is around. Because kids aren't tainted by the world yet. So they're more pure and they can see things, they can hear things, and they're not afraid of it until they're told to be afraid of it. So for me, because I had to play by myself all of the time, I had definitely, my friend's name was Carlos. I don't know why.
Shout out to Carlos. So, do you think there's kids that have, I guess you called it a spiritual guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's spiritual guides that have bad intentions?
Yeah, they can. And I think that depends on the child's vibration. I think that everybody comes into the world with their own agenda. It doesn't matter what family they're born into. It doesn't matter how they were raised. Everybody has their own purpose and agenda. So some people come in with just kind of a darker, heavier spirit. So if they have an imaginary friend, they might cling on to that lower vibrational energy.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you do what exactly? You do tarot cards, astrology, candle work, cleansings.
Yes.
What else? Is there anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that's all of it. Yeah, candles, tarot, cleansings, astrology. Yep. And I don't like to proclaim myself as being a medium because I'm not going to be able to just sit with somebody and be like, yeah, I'm about to channel. But like in certain situations, if a spirit does come through, I definitely can do that. I just don't proclaim that because, yeah.
A medium is contacting specific spirits, but then tarot card would be what?
Tarot for me is basically reading the energy. It's like an icebreaker. It's reading the person's energy and laying out a story of what they're dealing with and the options that they have. I don't call myself a fortune teller because I can't tell you this is going to happen on this day and I don't want to do that because people's minds are very fertile. And for me, I forgot to say, I also teach these classes too. I always tell my students when they're in my class, like, you have a very big responsibility with being a reader. So when people come to somebody that is a spiritualist or a tarot reader, they have their guard down. So whatever you say is going to it's going to sprout. So your mind is so powerful that they will make that situation manifest. That's not something that I will ever do. What I will say is you have these options. This is the path that's laid before you, and this is what could happen. But yeah, I wouldn't be like, yep, this is definitely on this day. You're going to meet this person. Like, that's very dangerous.
Some people out here doing that.
And some people can. I just know that for me specifically, I think that is very dangerous. Astrology is more fortune telling than tarot, to be honest with you.
Hot take.
Yeah, honestly.
Why you say that though?
Because your natal chart is like your own personal blueprint / like Bible. And you get to see, first of all, how you are, who you are, what generational curses you're dealing with, the way that you love, the way that you communicate, your work ethic. You can see that all in your chart, and then you can compare it to where the planets are right now. And I could tell you, this is a good time to sign a contract. This is a good time to do a business deal. This is not a good time to do this. This is not a good time to get married. I've had couples who have come to me checking to make sure, is this the right date for us based on our compatibility and the transits that are happening right now. So that feels more like fortune telling.
This should be accurate?
Yeah, very much so.
I might need to come to you myself.
Very much so.
I've had multiple conversations with people, right, that are witches, people that believe in the Bible. I've had a conversation with a demonologist.
That's tight.
And I hear all different kind of things. I hear all witches are demonic. I hear there's good witches, bad witches. And then I hear that there's just bad witches. What do you think it is?
I think that it's about intention. I think there are good pastors and bad pastors. It just depends on what the person's energy and intention is. And I mean, to be honest, who knows what's good or bad? It's just really about like the intention and the purpose of what the person is doing. So people who look at or say that they're bad witches, they might practice black magic, but they might be led to do things like that. And if you study, I feel like people who label witches or people or witches as bad people is because they don't take the time to actually study to understand. If you have a fear of something, that means that you need to study to figure out, is this a legit fear or is this something that has been passed down to me? And I feel that way. I feel like that's what happened to me. Like, I started studying things because I know that my family tried to make me feel fearful, but the more I got deeper into the Bible and just like understanding, I'm like, you have to get past that because there's so much information in this world. It's so many doors that need to be unlocked. And we kind of like pigeonholed ourselves in this one area. And it's not even like, you don't even know why you believe that. Like, you want to know, if you're going to be a Christian, you need to know why, not just because of what you've heard in church or what your family has told you. Like, why are you actually that? And do you actually practice that?
I guess that would be the influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Influence is big because you can influence somebody to do anything if they don't have the knowledge or willing to seek the knowledge, right? Let me see. Before you became the high priest, was there a specific moment where you're like, this is who I am now?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
I had been practicing reading tarot cards for a while, and I was afraid to go public with it, but I had someone, special that told me you should do this for people. And so I remember going to a Halloween party and doing it, and I started studying the cards even more, and I really resonated with the High Priestess card. So there's the High Priestess, there's the Empress. It's like all of these very empowering cards. But when I read the High Priestess, it talks about a woman who sits between the veil, between the spirit realm and the physical realm. And I started feeling like when I do readings, that's what I'm doing, is I'm channeling intuitive messages to people. And sometimes I'm being a medium or a conduit to the voiceless. And so that name really resonated with me. I know that now, being the high priestess, a lot of people feel like you have to be initiated into that. But it was something that I feel I was spiritually initiated into because when it happened, it took off. Like, my readings took off. I started getting booked. I never thought that I would be able to make money or a living off of doing this on my own. And so I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, when I said I wanted to be a witch or a spiritualist when I was little, like, I'm really embodying that now.
I want to stay with that because you said, I guess most high priestess would have to be, what was the word you used?
Initiated.
Mm-hmm. So you're not officially initiated.
Mm-mm. No.
I guess physically.
Yeah.
Right? But spiritually, you said you felt like you were, right? Have you ever gotten any pushback from people that know that you're not initiated?
No. Mm-mm. Never. That's not something that I have experienced. And I only mention that because I feel like I started seeing more people putting the high priestess at the end of their name on social media. And then I started seeing people who were commenting on that, like, oh, well, you just can't say that you're a high priestess. But I haven't had that come to me directly. Like, no.
And then you had said you had went to this party and you were already reading tarot cards before that party.
Yeah, just for myself and friends. And then I got kind of thrown out there.
But how did you know? How did you even get to the point where you knew that tarot cards was something that you even wanted to experiment with?
I can't say how I knew. I think that, like, I just bought the cards and started studying, and I was like, this is what I like. Later on down the line, I did a spiritual fair, and a psychic medium came up to me, and she was like, your great grandmother stays on your left side, and she had the gift, and she was looking for somebody in the family to give the gift to. She used to do readings. And I was like, okay, she said on my dad's side. And so I was like, I'm going to ask my dad. And so my dad started telling me that he remembered when he was little that his grandma would wake up and she would use a playing deck of cards. And he was like, she would drink coffee and lay these cards out on the table, but I never knew what she was doing. So I was like, okay, maybe this is where this came from, because it's not like she was playing a game. Like he said, he literally didn't know what she was doing. So when the lady told me that, she was like, you were the vessel that was open and she wanted to share that gift. And when you're doing readings and you channel somebody's loved one, it's coming through her. She's like a doorway. So after that, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
So you got grandma working through you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you first started doing these readings, did it ever feel like you were guessing?
No.
It just felt like natural.
Mm-hmm. It felt almost like it wasn't necessarily me. Like once I get in the mode and I'm tuned into somebody's energy, I have been able to unfold a story, but also just like off the cards, like just heard exactly what that person needed to hear. I have a specific story that always stays very like close to me. Is it a good time to share? Okay.
Share whatever you want. We listening to you.
So I remember I had did this really big event, and this girl, I had a long line. It had to be about 20 people in my line. And this girl came and sat down.
I want to clear it up.
Yeah.
You're doing tarot card readings?
Yeah.
At an event?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I started off doing tarot card readings at bars. I think that's the perfect place to do it.
That's wild.
No, but serious, because people are more in tune with themselves when they're drinking, and their spirits are more, and so people are drinking because they're sad or they're happy, so it's a good time to really talk.
But you don't think that could be a bad thing too?
Not for me.
Okay.
Honestly. But anyways, so she came to me and she sat down. And before I even touched my cards, I was like, man, I don't know why, but I feel like your grandmother has a message for you. And she just started crying. She was like, I came over here to get a reading because her grandma had just passed away, I think like 2 days ago. I didn't know that. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So she didn't tell me much. She was mixed. And she didn't tell me what side her grandma came from, but she just said that she passed away. She didn't tell me what she passed away from or anything. But I told her that, and then I started doing her reading. So that night when I got home, I thanked her grandma. I was like, thank you so much for allowing me to give a message to your granddaughter, all of this. I went to sleep. And I had a dream that I was in a hospital. And on that 70s show when the camera like pans around everybody's face, that's what it looked like in the dream. It was a family. She was Latino and Asian. It was a Latino family that was sitting in a circle, and it was like the camera panned around, and then her grandma was sitting right next to me. So right when I looked at her, she was like, it's time. And then she went and laid on her hospital bed, and she turned into a little girl and then into an old woman. And I was watching her like go into this flip. And so she lit a match and she put it up to me, and my shadow ran away. And she said, you never have to be afraid of your shadow. And I woke up. So I remember I took the girl's information, and right when I was going to email her, I saw that she emailed me, and she was like, thank you so much. So I emailed her and I told her the dream. And she sent me a message back. She was like, I'm crying right now. She was like, it was on her Latino side of the family. And she said that her grandma had dementia, and that she would turn into a little girl sometimes and forget that she was older. And she said that in real life, everybody would go to see her, but the day that she passed away, nobody made it to the hospital. So in the dream, I guess she was showing me, like, even though y'all weren't there with me physically, she was happy. So when everybody was laughing and smiling and I looked at her, she was like, it's time. Everybody started crying. So I was like, I think that she wanted to show me that dream to tell me that even though y'all weren't there physically, y'all were there with her spiritually. So that was like one of the most connected readings I ever had. And I felt like I really did something good for her because she had a lot of peace.
Can you say moments like that specifically almost reassure what you're capable of and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can imagine, because it's so hard to just tell somebody that you're capable of these things, but then it's a whole nother story to actually show somebody and they know that it's true because you don't know enough about them to even know what's going on in their life, right?
Yeah.
I've only had that happen twice.
Really?
With somebody, with two different people. And I knew that they were real because, one, they were in different states, different races, different genders, and they had no form of connection.
Wow.
And they told me the same exact thing.
You told them something or they told you something?
They told me something. And the first time I had a reading done with tarot cards, the lady, shout out to Jen, her name is Jen, I didn't even ask her to do it. She was like, I want to do it.
Okay.
And she did it, and I got a reading. It came out a certain way. And the second time, I asked somebody a specific question, and he said he didn't have the answers, but the cards would. And when he did it with the cards, it was identical to what Jen
That's crazy.
said. It was identical. And that's when I was like, this shit gotta be real.
So
there's some truth to this,
through.
right? Like, I know there's a lot of people that are gonna doubt, and people even watching are probably gonna doubt. There's gonna be a lot of believers, but I think until you're in a moment where you can sit in front of somebody that actually knows what they're doing and has these abilities like yourself, it's different to hear something that they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that shit is like a shell shock. Were there any other moments that made you realize that this was like, you're accurate?
Yeah. I had another reading at an event, and this girl sat down with me, and she had a lot of spirits around her. Like, I felt it. It felt like cold air. It felt heavy. And so she sat down, and I was like, have you had like at least 4 people close to you that have passed away? And she said, yeah. She said it was her dad. I think it was her dad, her boyfriend, a friend, and her grandpa, I think. Yeah, her grandpa. And she said that they died pretty close in time. And that's what she wanted to sit with me and talk about. But the energy felt so heavy. It kind of made me a little bit uncomfortable. So I was like, I didn't do a tarot card reading for her. I did a palm reading. I forgot to add that. I did a palm reading for her, and I was looking, and she just had so many like X's and lines on her hand. I was like, man, she has like a lot of grief in this life. But I think that that's when that like really solidified.
It got me looking at my shit.
Yeah. But yeah, it solidified like that. I don't know, like I know what I'm doing, and that people really are just looking they need a word, they need hope, they need to be validated. And I don't take that for granted. I don't want to be somebody who just does readings because it's trendy or because it's cool. Like, I really want to help people to find peace or to feel validated, because sometimes people are going through spiritual things and feeling things around them, and they literally don't have a family or friends or anybody to support them, especially if they're going through a spiritual awakening. So yeah, I guess that answered your question.
Talk to me about the astrology, because I know we talked about that a little bit before the show even started, and you were telling me a little bit about myself.
Yes. So you are a fellow Virgo like me. Shout out to Virgos, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, all Virgos.
Is Kobe Bryant a Virgo?
Yeah.
I think Kobe was a Virgo too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, the people who are really good at music, whether it's rapping or singing, they tend to be Virgos or Geminis because they're ruled by the planet Mercury, which is the messenger of the gods. So a lot of times will be great writers, singers, rappers, speakers, because we're able to channel messages from higher to give to people, whether that is through a song or through public speaking or through media, writing, those things. So
that's why I could talk pretty well?
Yeah, that's definitely
Maybe.
A Virgo thing. Yeah. So you are a Virgo sun at 8 degrees in the 5th house. So 8 degrees is considered, well, first, I like to tell people I break down reading a chart like a math equation. So it's the planet plus the degree plus the sign plus the house. And that's what makes your personality. So nobody else in this world can have your chart. Even if you were born as a twin, the energy can still be kind of different. Like 1 second off can make a little bit of a difference in a chart. But nobody else can have your path. So it's very unique to you. So for you, having Virgo, a Virgo sun at 8 degrees, that's Scorpio. Scorpio is the underworld. That's taboo subjects. That's scary movies, psychological thrillers, because Scorpio rules psychology and human behavior. So not being afraid of studying, like, well, why would a serial killer do that? I want to know. Like, you want to know the inner workings of their mind, right? And Virgo is very observant and they like to study things. So it's like once you get your mind stuck on something, it's like, I really want to figure this out. And Virgo rules perfection, being a perfectionist. So it's not that we're technically perfect, but we are the closest thing to perfect in the zodiac sign because we're the only real human sign in the zodiac. You get what I'm saying?
What you mean human sign?
Like, Leo
like
is a lion. No, Leo is a lion. You get like Taurus is a bull. Like,
but are we a chicken?
No, we're a human. It's a woman.
I've been lied to my whole life.
Who told you that Virgo was a chicken?
I don't want to say the word, but cock, like a
Who
or
said
a rooster.
That? Are you
something.
thinking about Chinese?
Yeah.
We're talking
Are we
about
like roosters or something?
We talking. Oh my God, we talking about regular astrology. That's
this goes to show you how much I know.
Yeah. So you have a Virgo sun at 8 degrees and it's in the 5th house. So 5th house is Leo. So Leo deals with fame. It deals with fame. It deals with being seen. You're supposed to shine on something. You're supposed to, and also you have a very big heart as well. Even though Virgos can kind of be very detached and cold, it's because we have big hearts when you have a 5th house placement. But you have a Pisces moon, and Pisces moon is like supernatural. It's like basically your mind is up in a different dimension, like you're in tune with something different. And that is definitely a sign of being an artist. So right now you have the same sun and moon as Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson was a great channeler, and a lot of that came through his Pisces moon. But also, I feel or find that people with Pisces placements or water sign placements have gone through a lot of trauma that pushes them out of their body. Not to say that you went through trauma, but it pushes them out of their body and into their imagination, because it's like, well, whatever I'm dealing with as a child, it didn't feel good. So I stayed up in the clouds, kind of. Is that true for you?
I mean, we ain't come up with this for no reason.
Yeah, that's definitely a Pisces thing. And then keep it quick, your rising sign is Taurus. So Taurus is like, you know how to make money. You're a very grounded person. Stability means a lot to you. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So you like nice things. You like beautiful people, or you attract beautiful people. You can actually make people more prettier when you're in a relationship with them because your Venusian energy rubs off on them.
Hey now.
So yeah, that's your big 3.
So there's a lot of people that don't believe in astrology, the same way they don't believe in tarot cards or witchcraft, whatever it may be.
I like to tell people that we would not, in the Bible, they would not even know where Jesus was at without astrology. Like paying attention to the stars. That was astrology based, or even knowing, oh, this one is a chosen one. That was based off of the stars. To know, like, this is a special, moon, star, all of that. To know that he was special. So astrology is in the Bible. It's definitely been mentioned. Even in tarot cards, I tell people the tarot deck starts with the Fool card, right? So the tarot story is about Jesus' story. Not to say Jesus was a fool, but the fool is basically somebody who is starting a journey and they're listening to a higher energy that's taking them somewhere. And they run into the devil card. They run into like any story that you can think of in the Bible, you can see it laid out in the tarot deck, which is basically the hero's journey that we go on. That's what the tarot cards are about. Where are you at in your hero's journey? So when you get in a reading, it's like you're basically seeing where you are. And it's loosely based, or not loosely based on, but based on Jesus's journey and your decisions and where you decide to go with yourself.
I ain't never heard it broken down like that.
Virgo, I'm a study, I know.
Okay. Well, I learned something new. Let me ask you this. Are there certain cards people fear that you think are misunderstood?
The death card, always. And that's a lot of times is because people have seen, what's that movie with Beyonce? Carmen. Have you seen that movie? Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, it was a movie called Carmen that Beyonce was in, and Wyclef was a tarot reader in that, and he pulled the death card, and she started singing, and she's like terrified. A lot of people think about that movie for some reason, and they think the death card is like literal death, which sometimes it can be that. But the death card is about transformation. It's about letting or surrendering to something that you need to let go of. Like, this shit is dead. The relationship dead. That job is dead. And the longer that you stay basically in a graveyard, you're not growing. So, yeah, I try to let people know that.
So that could be like, if you're staying in a relationship that you shouldn't be in, you should dead it. And get out it so you can grow.
Yeah, because there's no growth happening anymore.
That makes sense. I can only imagine how many people see you pull the death card and they be like, I'm dead next week.
All of them. It's always that. Even before they even get to pull the cards, they like, I don't want to pull the death card. And then they end up pulling the death card because your mind and your energy is so strong that you done manifested that.
When people come to you for tarot card readings, what do they usually look for? What's the base thing that you get the most?
It's always love and career.
So like, you're talking about like a significant other?
Yeah.
Are they coming into my life?
Yeah. Are they coming into my life? What's going on in my relationship? Should I stay with this person? Am I being cheated on? Those things. And then career. Is this the right job for me? Am I supposed to be doing this? And then sometimes people are really there for their spiritual journey. Like, am I doing this right? What's happening to me? Like, that's rare, but...
Have you ever told somebody something that they didn't want to hear?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Because I'm not, listen, I'm not one of those readers that's going to be like, everything is good and positive. If you have some shit going on, you do. I have definitely told people if their significant other, if it alluded to cheating happening. I've also told somebody about themselves, like, hey, you look like you're the problem in this situation, which is something that somebody doesn't want to hear when they're paying for the reading. But that's the way growth is supposed to be, you know? And if you're choosing me to be your spiritual guide, I can't lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you.
When you've told somebody that they're the problem, have they just got up and walked out?
No. I think that people have a great respect and reverence for people who do readings, so I think that they get scared. A good example is doing a couples reading. Having two people come and sit down and get a love reading, and 9 times out of 10, the woman is bringing her husband or her boyfriend to get a reading, and he's like reluctant because he already know. And having to say...
Fucking up relationships.
Listen, I'm not though. And I try not to because I'll look and be like, you know what I mean? But it's like you sat here and agreed to do it. So yeah, you're the one who's doing this with the money, or you have something in the background, or I'll tell the other person to step away. So I can be like, this is what's going on with you. And you need to rectify that. So I'm not going to say that I'm just like straight up like, he cheating on you or she's cheating on you, but I will ask one of them to step away to be like, you need to get that together.
You think you ever been wrong? What if we get home and I'm like, babe, no, I ain't cheating at all. I ain't doing nothing.
I can't say that I've been wrong because if I'm asking the person to stay with me that is cheating and I tell the other one to walk away, they're going to admit to it. So it's like, you got some shit going on. Like, this is very evident. I'm not going to tell her, I'm not going to tell him, but this is evident and you need to figure out what you're going to do. Gotcha. Definitely had readings like that before. I've had a reading where both of the people were cheating and didn't know. And so they stepped away. This one had this, this one had that. And I'm like, damn, if only they could be honest with each other and just have an open relationship, because they're not going to leave each other. You know, they're an older couple. They're married. You know, they did all this stuff together. So I'm like, my solution is like, maybe talk to each other and see if you can have a...
Did you tell both of them?
Individually.
You said, why you ain't just tell them right there? Like, well, y'all both fucking around.
First of all, you don't ever know somebody's mental state and if somebody will get home and start beating on somebody. So I'm not going to do that. That's dangerous.
But it's still dangerous if you... So what'd you do? You was like, give me 5 minutes and then give me 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm like, let me talk to him.
That's just as dangerous.
It's not, though, because they don't know what I'm talking to them about.
So they gonna get in the car and just be lying to each other.
That's up to them what they decide to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has tarot cards ever warned you that something bad may actually happen soon for somebody?
Yeah.
Like where you really have to tell somebody to look out?
Yeah, I've had it's always relationship based, but I've had people who have done readings and like, should I get out of this situation with this person? And I'm like, yeah, this person is dangerous. And then I get a call and it's like, I'm glad you told me because I found this out and he did this. And I'm like, damn. So, yeah.
Have you ever just not done a reading because somebody's energy felt off?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If a lot of times I do my readings over the phone. But even in person, like if I have somebody sit with me and I feel like they don't really take the reading serious, even though you're spending money with me, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my spirit's time. I'm not doing that. So I'll tell somebody no. If I feel like they're not really, they just want to like rage bait me, you know, like, well, what about this? I'm not doing that because I'm not a trendy reader. So it's been that. There's been people that I've just had like really weird vibes from, and I don't know what they did, but it feels too heavy for me to intertwine myself in it. So I'll be like, no, I'm not going to be able to do this session with you.
Damn, I wonder what kind of people those, like what they had going on. You think they could have killed somebody?
I do. They could have, honestly, or
you
they're
think
just
you've encountered that before?
Possibly, maybe.
Could you imagine a murderer going to a tarot card reader?
That's actually a story that happened that I heard about. The lady, he came into her shop, I believe, and got a reading, and he was showing her pictures of a woman, and she knew. She was like, yeah. She ended up calling the police, and she was like, I did a reading, and he has a girl locked up in his basement or something somewhere. And surprisingly, some type of way, the authorities got involved, and that was true. Like, he had some girl, like, held captive for a while. And, yeah. So, I don't even know why they don't include spiritualists in work like that.
It's kind of like that movie, Black Phone.
Yeah.
Remember the little sister, I think?
Yeah.
She, like, seeing those dreams and shit? And they, like, she knew what the front of the house looked like.
Mm-hmm. That's like the movie, have you seen Doctor Strange?
I have, yeah.
So that girl in that movie reminded me of me, because I will say that my first gift was dreaming, having prophetic dreams and remote viewing and not knowing that that's what I was doing. I remember having dreams where this was probably in 2012 when I was having my awakening. I remember I wasn't myself. I was a white dude, and I had on like a button-up shirt, but my sleeves were rolled up. I had on slacks, and there was a kid on the ground. It's crazy to say, but it was like a cemented room, and it was blood everywhere. And I remember feeling so weird. Like, and so I woke up, and that was in 2012 before this stuff was public. But I remember like really having a hard time with that dream because I was like, was that me? Did I do something in my past life? Like, what is going on? Then I was like, I think I was remote viewing some shit that I wasn't supposed to be seeing. But I really think that I saw that because nothing from my imagination would create something like that. I haven't seen any movies that would even like make me replicate something like that.
Tell the people watching, or tell us exactly what remote viewing is.
Basically you're stepping into a real situation that may be happening, and it's kind of like you're a fly on the wall, like you're seeing something that's happening in real time.
But you're sleeping.
Correct. Yeah. And so it could be happening like in that real time, or maybe it already happened, but you're able to see it. And then so in Doctor Strange, you saw she was like seeing kids being killed by those things. And so she would wake up and be like, she knew. When I saw that movie, like that movie really, really, I think that movie scared me more than The Exorcist because I was like, damn, that's exactly how I felt.
Can you still do this?
I cannot. People practice to do stuff like that. I can't do it just like that, but it happens naturally, but it's more scattered now. And it'll be with like friends. Like I remember I hadn't talked to my homegirl. You know when you have friends that you haven't talked to in a while, but like when y'all talk, it's like y'all haven't missed. So I had a homegirl who I hadn't talked to in years. And in that dream, I saw her at this house, and it was a couple of people around, and I saw her go into the house, and she went to go fight somebody, and then she came back, and she was walking to the car, and she got arrested. And so I was like, damn, I haven't talked to her in years. I'm finna hit her up. I was calling her. She didn't answer. She called me about a month later, and I told her the dream, and she was like, bitch, I was in jail because I actually did that. She was like, I went up to the house, she fought somebody, and she came back to the car, and she was trying to leave, and she got hemmed up by the police, and she went to jail. And I was like, wow. So I was really seeing that in real time, but because I wasn't talking to her at that time, I couldn't warn her to be like, hey, don't do that. Like,
but you think you were seeing it while it was actually happening, or prior to it
I think I was seeing it while it was actually happening, like in that dream. Because after that, like I said, I was calling her. She didn't call me until like a month later. And she was like, bitch, I was in jail. Like, that's crazy. She was like, you scare me. So I've had a couple of dreams with her.
Scary, though.
I had a dream when she was pregnant with her first child, and she didn't tell anybody. And in that dream, she wrote me a letter, and we both started crying. And I called her, and I was like, I had a dream that you gave me a letter telling me that you was pregnant. And she was like, bitch, I'm pregnant. I haven't told my mom yet because we were teenagers. So I was like, I don't know. I think I have like a tether with her. Like I call her my spiritual sister because I dream about her so accurately. And it can be years that we haven't talked, but like, I don't know. I'm tapped into her for some reason.
Yeah. Going back to the astrology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even on your Instagram, I had seen like you were reading celebrities.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I seen, like you had stated, Michael Jackson. I've seen like some very big names on there.
Mm-hmm.
How did you even get into that? How did that start?
So, you know, like when I'm just interested in celebrity charts, especially those that resonate with me. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're a Virgo. I just started getting into like looking at them and then seeing like, how did they become famous? Like, what are they thinking? What are they going through? I didn't know that those were going to take off and be so big. To my following, to people reposting, putting them on their pages, and even getting me opportunities that have come from that. Because I guess like the way that I write it out, people were like, oh, that makes sense. And it feels more digestible versus you see some pages that you go by and it's like, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know the words that they're using. I just try to make it digestible and realistic. And what better, if you want to know what's going on in the world, pay attention to the stars on Earth because they mimic the stars in the heavens. They're illuminated for a reason. So we can see what's going to happen based on, like I just saw somebody say something about Megan Thee Stallion, and how she's kind of taken over right now with her story with the breakup between her and Clay. But then they were saying like, oh, this is the year of the horse and she's the stallion, and like being able to embed that together. And I'm like, that's a representation of, if you want to know what's going on with the stars, pay attention to the stars on Earth. In the industry, like I said, Virgos and Geminis are really good at singing, writing, rapping. So a lot of times they become celebrities. But Aquariuses and Leos and Libras, they really dominate the entertainment industry as well. Especially Aquarius and Leos, because they represent, Leos represent being an actual star. Aquariuses represent being able to have persuasion over the collective. Libras rule theater and drama. So Cardi B is a Libra, and her album was Am I the Drama? She's literally a very theatrical person. So I feel that when people are being chosen to be stars or whoever makes it, I think that they absolutely do look at their charts. So not everybody is going to make it, but if you have that chart that aligns with that and they understand the transits, like JP Morgan said, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do.
Have you ever read someone's astrology and it didn't add up to who they actually are in person? Was it ever inaccurate?
No, I can't say that. I think that I've read somebody who was like, that doesn't sound like me, but I feel like they were very out of touch with themselves and didn't know who they were.
I know you said when you were reading mine, you said I had some fame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen people have that, but then just completely fail and not be that?
So it can look like we all have choices. So you could have the pull that you know you're supposed to be doing this, but you might have to get over the obstacle of being shy or working with people. You have a choice to pursue that purpose in this life, but if you can't get over whatever that obstacle is, then yeah.
So it's like unlocking it.
Yeah, like you got to figure out how to do it. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be fame, like I'm supposed to be on TV and be seen. It could be that you're illuminated in your family for being a certain type of way, or amongst your friends or at work. You're the star of that show in that way.
Yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up, because some people are going to be out here thinking they should be on TV and the next biggest singer out here. Where do you draw the line between reading public figures and respecting that spiritual boundary?
So I've had a couple of people in my comments that are like, this is a violation. When you become a celebrity, that's public information. So a lot of times you don't have a celebrity's birth time, so I'm not going to know what their rising is or, their accurate houses, but I am going to be able to see, the basic layout of who they are. And it's like they're living in the spotlight. So it's public information. Like,
yeah.
I don't think that is a violation. What I think is a violation is taking tarot cards and reading into a celebrity's life, especially if it's a very sensitive subject. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I think that that's a sensitive thing.
Like maybe going a little too far.
Yeah, okay, Megan Thee Stallion and Clay had this breakup. Let me read into it and see. And he thought this and that. I think that can be more of a violation than reading somebody's chart.
So that you think that actually goes on? People are actually reading into
these
people's
lives I've seen that
before without permission.
Absolutely.
You think there's people that put, I guess, hexes or spells on people that they don't know?
Mm-hmm.
Without even meeting them?
Yeah. Like celebrity-wise or just...
could somebody at home be watching this? I don't know them, right? And they're like, I'm going to fuck Askia's life up. And they in there cooking up something.
They could attempt, but it would have to be a connection to you in order for that to be a thing. I mean, some people, if they have a real strong will and just hatred to be like, I really don't like him, I guess, but you stay protected because you don't allow your mind to be fertile to things like that. I think that sometimes if people have a real fear of being hexed or whatever, sometimes somebody could just tell you that they do that, and then you start manifesting that because it's a seed that's been planted in your mind. So now you fucking up your own life because you have so much fear of somebody having authority over who you are.
I'm so glad I'm the way I am, because somebody will say something to me and I'd be like, that shit ain't happening to me.
Yeah.
I put that shit in the air all the time.
Yeah, that's a wall of protection.
Did you hear it?
I didn't.
Y'all ain't hear that?
What it sound like?
Something running around back here.
Hey, fam. Amen.
All right, speaking about, I guess, some level of witchcraft, or I don't want to call it witchcraft, but you do candle magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've seen what I think is candle magic, and I don't want to assume, so I'm going to ask you what it is. But what I've seen is like people will take candles, burn them, they'll put them in a circle, they'll do all kind of things with candles. Is this true?
It can be true. It depends on what type of magic you're doing. Okay. It depends on what type of magic you're doing. I would consider what I do more elemental, more hoodoo-like. Hoodoo actually includes the book of Psalms in the Bible. And that it's a Southern thing. It's a Southern thing that includes prayer and intention and adding elements together. But there are some rituals, depending on what you're initiated into, what form of magic you're doing, where it's absolutely circles and symbols and things like that.
But what would candle magic be accomplishing? Is it to put something on somebody? Is it to bring something to fruition?
So it can be all of those things. It could be if you are low on money and you're like, I really need money. The way that I break it down is money is green, right? So I would want to go get a green candle. I would pick up or look up herbs that are associated with money, cinnamon, bay leaves, things like that. Intuitively, I'm going to be guided to be like, okay, I'm going to crush these things up. Let's say I have a candlestick. I'm going to take honey so I can, bring sweetness and money to me, and roll this candle in honey, add the herbs on top, carve in my intentions in this candle. I want to make this amount of money. I'm attracting opportunities, like writing that stuff down and then lighting the candle and just like staring into the flame, like repeating over and over something that you want. So basically you're manifesting and willing that in, and you're getting your vibration up to where you believe that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to feel like I'm rich. I feel like that. And I'm putting this into the candle. And so I'm going to burn this candle, for however long it takes. And after that, that's what's coming to me.
So when you prepare personally candle work, what matters most? Like, what do you set up? Does the color of the candle matter?
Yeah. What matters most is having a clean house and a clean environment. You cannot, what they say, God can't bless no mess. You cannot do candle work and you have a house that is cluttered or it's dirty. No spirits that you're working with or angels or anything are gonna come into a place that's cluttered. So that's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. The second thing is your intention. Why are you doing this? What are you asking for? And let's say you're asking for money. You have to be very clear about what your intentions are with that money. Because if you just want money just so you could flex or whatever, like, that's silly. You need to be very clear. Like, this is what I plan on doing with the money. Like, have a good intention. Make sure that you're in a meditative state and that you're able to, because you're going to be repeating basically affirmations over and over until your vibration meets what you're trying to manifest. So you can't be like, I want $1 million, but you don't even feel like that's something that you can obtain. Then that's not going to work.
That shit kill me, because even if, like, let's just say, and I had asked somebody this question, a good friend of mine, her name is Celeste. Mm-hmm. She was on this show. I even had asked her, I said, when it comes to magic, even if I did magic every day, let's say I did this candle magic and I knew exactly what I wanted to use the money for, and it was no ill intent behind it, but it was something very specific, and I didn't align myself, meaning I didn't put in the work outside of the ritual that I was doing or that magic I'm I guess going through with, would it still happen?
If you didn't align yourself with the work?
So like if I'm not putting in the work outside of like when I leave the house and I'm not going to go actually make $1 million, if I just sit on the couch after I do my magic and I do my magic for 1 year straight and I just sit on the couch every day, I'm like, $1 million gonna come.
Okay, so
You might hit the lotto. Who knows?
I was gonna say, first of all, it takes a lot of energy to feel like you deserve that and to feel like you're a millionaire. So I'll say if you do that candle and you're being consistent, but you really are consistent in that vibration, you might fuck around and hit the lotto, or you might fuck around and be blessed with something like that or close to it. But a lot of people don't have the time to even like get themselves up to that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's a lot of trauma. A lot of us are very broken. A lot of us don't come from wealth and don't even know what that looks like or feels like. So that's why I said it's a lot of like inner work and affirmations that you have to keep repeating. So I would say starting off with something small. I've definitely manifested a great amount of money for myself, but I paired that with listening to books like Think and Grow Rich and Feeling is the Secret. I was like, oh shit, this goes in alignment with doing magic, because you're getting that, you're writing it down, like you're really envisioning yourself having that. So yeah, if you actually were at that vibration and not in an entitlement, like, yeah, I'm supposed to have $1 million, not entitlement, but like, I feel like this already. You know, like when you have a vision of an outfit that you want to wear, like let's say you go into a concert and you like, I can already see it. It's going to be easy for you to find that outfit because you already envisioned it. You already know what it looks like. But you can't find something that you can't even see yourself being in. You get what I mean?
I hear you, but a lot of people lie to
And
themselves.
they know that they lying to themselves because the fruit is not going to be there. You know when you lying to yourself. It's sometimes you got to fake it until you make it. But
because if I ain't got no job, but we out here talking about I'm gonna make $1 million, I mean, yeah, you may be able to you may slip and fall in the mall. Who knows? But
yeah. But I feel like, oh shit, I feel like when you really are believing that, you're going to start to see things move and people are going to treat you differently. If you still running into like, damn, people treat me like shit, you're faking, you're lying to yourself, and that's not real.
Yeah.
When you feel good, things start to move. People start to treat you different. People start to be like, damn, you got a glow. And you could be looking bummy, but people can see that inner light coming out of you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You think somebody's ever done candle magic and it opened up something that they weren't prepared for?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That the thing that I just described is, like I said, it's elemental and it's a very basic form of magic. It's really manifesting. But there are things, you said that you had somebody who studied demonology. There are certain practices where, okay, there is King Solomon in the Bible, right? So he had command over angels, or he was able to, get angels or demons to do bidding for him. So there is the Solomonic keys, and then there's the lesser keys. So if you are jumping into the deep end and you just like, I'm finna get straight into Solomonic magic and that's what I'm about to do, you're opening something that you're not even prepared for. It's such a long process to even do that. So basically he had demons who built things for him, temples and things like that. So then there are people who get into stuff like that, but it's like, it's a process that might take a 7-day process before you're even able to do or get them to do your bidding for you. But if you just somebody that's like, you looking on TikTok and YouTube and you like, yeah, I'm finna do this. That's what I want to do because I want to have this and I want to have money. And you didn't do the proper steps. I feel like it takes years of really studying that and having somebody to teach you that before you jump into that.
I hope y'all are listening.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine there's so many people that actually take that path. They'll see something online.
Yeah.
And they'll just go get them some candles.
And just because it
start
looks...
saying some shit. Now you know your door's opening on its own and you're floating in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I mean, you have, strange things that are happening. You have to do a lot of protection. And, like I said, some people might feel naturally pulled to do things like that. So I'm not going to say like, oh, you shouldn't. But I think that that's rare. And I think that you really want to have a made up mind and be very sure about what you're doing and what you're calling on, for sure.
Have you ever had to do candle magic for someone else?
I have.
Or is it typically for the individual that's doing it? So like for yourself?
I have done candle magic for a select few people before to help with, it could be health things, it could be protection. I haven't done like money for anybody, but definitely health and protection.
No one's ever came to you and asked you to harm somebody?
I don't do that.
So even if the amount of money was there, you like, hell no, don't even come over here.
I don't have that type of, I'm not called spiritually to do things like that. Some people are, but Virgos, so Virgo and Scorpio are like one and the same, but Scorpio they can be more prompted to do heavier underworld work. When Virgo tries to step into that lane, you're going to feel it. Like you'll feel off on the inside. Like, damn, I wasn't supposed to do that. Energetically, I wasn't supposed to. And you get reprimanded really hard when you have a strong Virgo placement. So, nah.
That's crazy you say that. Because I might even like kill an ant in the house and I'd be like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know it's like, you ain't supposed to be in here, but I still feel like it got feelings. So
yeah.
Y'all don't take that for weakness. Don't try to break in my house either.
No, because Virgos can definitely be cold, though.
I want to talk about the good side, the good things about what you've done, right? And I want to talk about the type of people that you help, because I think this is important too. The kind of people that usually come to you when they're at their lowest, like, what's some of the things that you've seen over a period of time that it's become consistent? Like alcohol? Is it drug addiction?
Sometimes it's addiction. I won't be specific about what addiction, but a lot of times it's relationships. And I say that because my theory is pain pushes you towards your purpose. And a lot of times your first heartbreak is your first initiation into your discovery of self and your discovery of God. Because you feel so uncomfortable when you get your heart broken and you are like hopelessly looking for something to make you feel better. So a lot of times I see with men, they'll go out and drink. They might mess with a couple of girls and, everything is cool. And then it hits them later that they're hurt. With women, because feminine energy is spiritual, we go straight into allowing ourselves to feel. So a lot of times that'll look like women will start going to church. They'll start praying. They're like going directly into that spiritual energy. And that'll help them to discover their path and be like, on this journey, they'll get there and then be like, I decided to go back to school, or I decided to get a hobby. And now this hobby has made me money. So it's like that heartbreak is an initiation sometimes into your purpose. And for men, that heartbreak will be an initiation into y'all, because we all have feminine and masculine principles inside of us. That'll be the first thing that will help y'all to get into that feminine energy and figure out, like, what do I need out of love? How can I be better? You'll start looking at childhood shit like, damn, I could have did this better, if it's a real, true heartbreak. So it'll initiate you into a higher version of yourself, for sure.
Okay. What has spiritual work taught you about human beings?
That we're all looking to be led. And so much so that it can get scary. That's how people can end up in cults and things. They can end up just believing in anything because they want so bad to be led, because they don't believe that they have the power within themselves to lead themselves. They don't believe in themselves. So humans give up a lot of their power to other sources. Whether that be just thinking that God is outside of them and thinking that they're this feeble, broken, just toe down person, and they end up going to church, because church is literally a place, and it's no shade, because I think that church definitely is a safe haven and can connect you to higher energy. But I do feel like pastors, preachers, they know full knowledge and information about the Bible, but I feel like they don't give knowledge of self because they have to keep people sick and connected into that space. So people are constantly looking to be led or to follow something because they're not being taught that the power is within them and that your body is the temple. You have a personal relationship with God. You have access. You don't have to have a middleman all of the time, It's so funny with church. It's like they'll condemn people who do work like me, but I'm like, y'all will have a prophet come to the church and prophesize and literally be giving or not fortunes, but telling people about what's going to happen. So it's like, God is going to give you a message. I put this on my page it could be a pastor, an oracle, a tarot reader, a spiritual. He's going to get, or they are going to get a message to you no matter what it takes. They're going to meet you somewhere. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you have that power within you. So I just see that humans they really want to be led real bad.
I say it all the time, openly, but if church works for you, go to church. Mm-hmm. That's how I put it.
And some people need it.
True.
Hey.
True.
Some of y'all need to be there.
But then when I see a pastor roll up in a Bentley mm-hmm. with a Louis Vuitton suit on, mm-hmm. asking people that don't have nearly much, living from paycheck to paycheck, but you're asking for donations, to me, that seems like it's so fucked up.
It is. And that comes from being indoctrinated with this is the only way and we're not supposed to question. And it's like you're supposed to live a nice life and you should be allowed to have luxury. But it's like, that this is coming at the expense of people who really need their money. I know you saw that video where that woman went up with her grandson and was like, I have $1,500 here. I'm sowing a seed of $1,500 and I have another check of $200. And he was like, this is the $2,000 line. And I said that you have to, and she was like, oh, well, I'll work on it. And he said, I didn't ask you to work on it. This is that line.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
What's crazy is she came out and she defended him and was just like, that's my pastor and I got the instructions wrong. And I'm just like, why would there need to be a line of people sowing $2,000 in when this is government funded? Like, what is going on?
This shit is fucked up.
It is.
Because, like, I seen another one where it was a pastor. Mm-hmm. He told the people to lock the doors.
Oh, yeah. That was Marvin Sapp.
And he was like, until we hit this threshold, mm-hmm. ain't nobody leaving.
Crazy work.
That's kidnapping.
It is.
Damn near.
What? It's crazy. Like, and I just can't even understand the reasoning for why you're asking for so much money. Because then I've seen people who...
That's greed.
It is. I saw a lady who was calling up to churches just to be like, well, let me see if this church will help me if I say that my baby needs diapers and food. And literally these churches weren't helping her out. So I'm like, what do y'all need this money for? And it is because you're living this luxurious life, but it's because they're tapped into the information that they're supposed to be telling to the congregation. You believe in yourself. You know the missing books in the Bible. You know how this is. You know about Christ consciousness, mm-hmm. but you're not going to tell them that because then they wouldn't need to be here. honestly, you know?
I want to ask you about spiritual psychosis.
Yes.
How do you know if somebody comes to you whether or not they're okay mentally?
Ooh, it's an energy. I don't know why. I always say that I feel like God wants me to be Constantine because I can see when there's something happening before you even speak to me. I can see it. And Virgos, we're very observant people, so I could just see it, and it's a feeling. And then I'm like, okay, let's see how this is gonna play out.
You think social media has made people spiritually more vulnerable?
Absolutely.
Why you say that?
Because our brains are being, what's the word I'm looking for? Overstimulated with so much information, and everybody is addicted to seeing stuff in 30 seconds, and they want instant gratification. So nobody really wants to do the research. Nobody wants to do the work. They want instant results. So if you have somebody who is playing the part, dressing up that part, now you want to participate because you like the way this person look. This person look like they got money. They know what they talking about. Now you jumping off the deep end and you're doing things, and you done made yourself vulnerable to all types of stuff because too much knowledge can make you go crazy for real.
Well, how do you personally separate your intuition from fear?
Fear makes you feel like you need to run away immediately. Intuition is a little nagging feeling or a quiet voice that you just can't seem to get away from. I'm glad you asked that because I like to break that down to my clients that come to me.
Yeah. Have you ever seen people use spirituality to avoid therapy?
Yeah. Which I'm 50-50 about it because sometimes therapy can just be, it depends on where your intellect is at. Because you like, okay, I'm just going to talk to this person. And if you're a very self-aware person, therapy might not be something that necessarily works for you. I think therapy is good, but if you're self-aware, that might not work. So, spirituality might be a thing because you're actually doing things and you can get a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Going back to the astrology, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people ask, or people will blame something that they're doing and being like, that's the Virgo in me. That's you think that shit is real?
Okay,
Or that's just
do.
lack of accountability?
It can be both. I think that each sign has characteristics. And so, yeah, some things can be like, Kanye is a Gemini. So it's like Gemini is represented by two people. That's two different personalities. So it's like naturally, yeah, you could see if you're dealing with a Gemini, like, oh, shoot, there go the other person. That's a thing. Mm-hmm. But I think that it can be a lack of accountability if you are basing that on not wanting to do better. Like, well, shit, I'm a Libra, so I'm just a flirt. Like, this is just what I do. It's like, well, you can do better.
I done heard the craziest excuses for people's signs. Mm-hmm. So I always just be like, that shit ain't true.
And it's a very basic, it kind of gives astrology a bad name because people are just looking at horoscopes, and 9 times out of 10, you're not even reading your horoscope the right way. You're supposed to be reading by your rising sign, but that's basically just like kind of junk. Yeah. Like that's the tip of the iceberg.
If someone decides to go into tarot cards, candle magic, any type of mediumship, should they set a boundary for themselves?
Absolutely.
And what does that boundary look like? Is that verbally? Is that
like before doing like getting into readings, like this is what I won't do? Or yeah, absolutely. I think the boundary is doing as much research as possible and seeing if you're called to do something. If every time you pick up some cards and you're feeling like, nah, I'm not supposed to be doing that, first investigate, is this like religious, indoctrine that I have to unlearn? And if you get past that and you still feel like I'm not supposed, then don't do it. You got to listen to your body.
I'm going to lead that into a story that you have.
Mm-hmm.
A possession story.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So I have a friend who How do I even want to start? She is very spiritually sensitive. She's definitely an empath, and she definitely has gifts. Um, she had started telling me, me and her used to frequent New Orleans a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And she got at the time, we were staying out in New Orleans. And so she had got a place for us to stay in before I came out there. And she was telling me that she was experiencing like paranormal things, like waking up and feeling like somebody was choking her and all of these things. So I started to see a difference in her when we were out in New Orleans, and we ended up coming back to Austin.
What did that difference look like?
The difference was more emotional. She was going through a lot in her life, but more emotional, more paranoid, just too aware to the point to where it's like, are you good, girl? Like, is everything okay? It was that. And her personality started to change. She wasn't, as free spirited as she was before. It was just a more heavier, more tense energy. Her sleeping patterns were kind of off. So we got back to Austin and we did a candle. I was doing a money candle. She said that she wanted to do her own candle. And so I'm like, okay, cool.
Y'all doing candles in the same room?
In the same house, yeah. But it was money. Listen.
This how this shit start, y'all.
Cut it out. So basically, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a money candle. She was like, oh, I want to do a candle too. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she went off into the other room. And I don't know what type of candle she was doing. It's her business. I wasn't tripping. I noticed that when she came out of the room, she had walked past me and I saw it look like a shadow following her. In my peripheral, that's what I saw. But a lot of times when we see things, we think like, nah, I'm probably tripping. That's not what happened. But the look in her eyes shifted. So my boyfriend was there and he was like, something is different about her. Like, she looks different. So over that course of time, we went to sleep and she came and knocked on my door at 3 a.m. And she was like, I opened the door and I said, what's up? She said, did you call my name? And I was like, no. And she was like, I heard you call my name. I was like, I absolutely did not. So I knew then, I was like, what I saw was real. Mm-hmm. And I was like, something is happening, but I'm not really sure. She's not from Austin, by the way. So okay. I was like, she down here, and I would have to figure out, like, my mind is already working. So the next day, I was getting up. I had to be somewhere early in the morning. And at the time, I didn't have my car, so I was using her car. And so she woke up. It was 5 a.m. and she was like, can I go with you? And I was like, why? Like, I was like immediately irritated. Like, what are you doing? Why? And so she was like, I just want to go with you. So when we got in the car, she started, it's called word salad. Like when somebody is speaking, but they're not making sense. She was speaking, but she wasn't making sense. Like, I have something to show you, and kind of whispering. And so I was like, what is going on? Like, are you okay? And she's like, oh, I'm tripping. So cool. We get back to the house. What?
Go ahead.
And so we get back to the house and I'm offering to, like, you want some food or cooking for her. She's not eating the food. She won't drink anything. She won't drink any water, no juice that I'm making her. So I'm like, okay. And so then she's like, my stomach is hurting. So I'm like, okay. So she's like going back and forth to the bathroom, like, I guess throwing up or something. In my intuition, I was like, yeah, this is looking like some exorcist shit. Like, she's not eating anything. What is she throwing up? What is happening? So
you can hear her throwing up?
Yeah, like, or something was going on. She's telling me that that's what was happening. So she worked at a hospital, and that next day, I took her to her job because she worked overnight. So about an hour later, she calls me and she's like, I need you to come and pick me up. And I'm like, why? And again, she's not making any sense. So I go get her and she's like, yeah, I need to get rid of all of my magic stuff. And so I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, and they were following me. I'm like, who's following you in the hospital? And she's like, it's a ghost. Like, they're talking to me. They're following me. So I was like, hey, man, we need to figure out what's going on. Like, I need to call your people. I think maybe you're overworking. Something is happening. I'm trying to be rational with her. And she's like, oh, I just probably need to sleep. I haven't slept. That night, she goes to sleep. She's up and down, going back and forth to the bathroom. It's at least 20 times throughout the night because I keep on waking up because the bathroom is next to my room. So I can hear the door opening and closing. So I'm like, this is weird. So the next day, I go in there to check on her. She's literally, no TV is on. She's just like in a position, just like not laying down, but kind of like sitting up like on her pillow, just staring at the wall, like no expression, just very blank, very monotone. So I'm like, hey, I'm worried about you. Like, what's going on? Like, I think we should contact your family. And she's just not really responding to me. So I'm still steady trying to give her some food, trying to make her laugh. It's not working. Then she'll snap out of it and she's talking to me like regular. And she's just like, I don't know. I just haven't been able to sleep. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is just from her, like not getting sleep. So then the next day, she does the same shit overnight. The next day she comes in the room and she's like, I need to call, my grandma. She had recently just had an auntie that passed away. And she was like, my auntie is talking to me. And I'm like, what you mean? And she's like, she's talking to me and she's telling me what her favorite show is. And so I was like, all right, okay. So then she calls her grandma. Her grandma was like, yep, that is her favorite show. Actually, how did you know that? And she's like, she's talking to me. So I'm like, okay. So then she calls her sister. And her sister was like, I understand what you're saying, but she was trying to be more logical. So she gets irrationally mad. And she's just like, she's a very sweet girl. She doesn't get angry, but she's getting mad. And she like getting like swollen her chest, like, y'all don't believe me. And da-da-da. So I'm like, hey, I do believe you, but like, you're not acting like yourself. So she's mad. She goes back to her room. She's up and down in the bathroom all day, all night. The next day, it was such a long process. The next day, I'm talking to her and she tells me that she did some magic and she felt like it was backfiring on her. She starts telling me that she's God, that she's the operator, and she's the devil and all of these things. And it's just not making any sense. So I'm like, listen, you're going to have to go to the hospital because this is not, I don't understand. So she leaves out of the house and she calls the police on me. So I get a knock on the door super hard and she's downstairs looking at me and I'm looking at her and they're like, yeah, we got a call that, it's a disturbance. She's in danger. So I'm like, okay, cool. Y'all are here. So I'm like, my friend, I think she's having a mental health episode. And I'm wondering if y'all can assess her or send a mental health officer out. So they talk to her. Of course, they don't really have good structure for mental health cases. Unless you said that you're going to kill yourself or kill somebody else, they really can't force you to do anything. So they're like, she don't want to go. She's fine. So she is talking to me and she's telling me like, yeah, I did this type of magic and da-da-da. And she's like, this is why this is happening. And so I was like, bro, I think that maybe like your mind is taking it too far. I don't know what's going on, but I need you to rest and I need you to give me your family's number or your sister's number or whatever. And she's refusing to do it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that night I had my homegirl come over and I was like, hey, I have stuff to do tomorrow. Do you think that you could just be here with her while I'm out and I'm going to be back by the afternoon? Well, it's 5 a.m. and I'm in the bathroom getting ready. My homegirl knocks on the door and my boyfriend is standing like in between the door, and out of nowhere in the darkness, I hear, get out of my house, in like a deep man voice. And she starts attacking my friend. So my friend, she is Scorpio. She pretty gangster. So she was just like, girl, back up off of me. Like, nah. So my boyfriend is standing in between trying to get them apart. And he says her face looks different. He's like, I don't know who that is, but he's freaking out. Like he started grabbing on his heart. I'm like, oh my God, this is really like The Exorcist. Like what's going on? So I get my homegirl out to the balcony and she's out in the living room. She somehow gets past him and she runs to the balcony and she basically has my friend like pushed over. Like she could have pushed her off of the balcony. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, get her off. So he gets her off and we get her in a room. She wouldn't come near me. She wouldn't touch me. She was very active with everybody else, but she would not come near me. So I was just like, you need to relax. So my homegirl is calling mental health police and she like, I'm not trying to, send this girl nowhere, but like she really does need to get some help. So The police come and she's monotone and calm. Like none of that happened. She's like, I'm sorry. That's how she's talking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what to do. Just like straight face. So they take her to the hospital. I'm thinking, okay, cool. She gonna get the help she need. I get a knock on the door in the afternoon. She's back at the door. She goes straight into the room. I'm sorry for what I did to y'all. And she goes in the room. She lays down on the bed and she's just sitting in the room propped up, just staring at nothing. So I'm like, you can't be here. Like, you have to go somewhere. Like, I don't know what's happening, but you have to go. So she's telling me, she was like, I did some magic. And she said, I let the wrong spirit in, and basically saying that she let a demon in and now, it's in her. She's like actively telling me this with no facial expression, very monotone. So I'm like, okay, we need to do something. So I take her, I'm like, I'm too close to her. I couldn't do a cleansing for her. So I take her to a spot that I know that does cleansings. They do the cleansing on her, and I don't go back there with her, but they're like, her egg looked fine. So I'm like, okay, maybe she feel better. Like, so we're driving, we get to the store, we park. She doesn't get out the car and she starts talking again about the same shit. Like, I'm God and I'm this and I'm that and I let this in and I did this. And I'm just like, bro, we just left from the place and you was fine like 10 minutes ago. Like, what is going on? I ended up taking her to the mental health hospital on my own with my cousin and my friend. She refused to go in. Her dad was like, if you can just get her on an airplane. I'm like, I don't know if she should be on an airplane in the air with these people. Like, I don't know. Like, this is crazy. So he was like, well, at least like if you get her there, he was like, I'm just going to fly down there to get her. So he was like, if she won't get back in the car with you, then at least she'll be around people. And if she starts to act crazy, maybe, the officers can take her and I'll come. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I leave her at the airport. She calls me on the phone. I'm realizing she didn't get on the flight. She goes, I need to come back to the house to show you who I really am. And so I was like, oh my God. So I'm like, I'm not coming back. This is crazy. So her sister's like, you can't leave my sister there. Something could happen to her. I said, ain't nothing gonna happen to whatever that is. Nothing is gonna happen to her. Trust me. But I ended up going back and getting her.
What?
I did, because her sister, she made me feel bad. Went back, got her. And so she gets in the house and she's just like, she takes a shower and she's just like, I don't know. I feel like something is on me. So I start praying with her and I was just like, listen, your dad is going to be here in the morning. You just need to rest. So I'm in the bed and I start getting notifications on my Ring doorbell. And I see her. She's standing at the door in the darkness. It's 5 a.m. and she got the door open and she's just staring into nothing. So I was like, fuck, this is scary. So I get out, tell my boyfriend to get out the bed. And I said, hey, you couldn't sleep? And she's like, I don't know, something, I don't. She's not making any sense. So I said, well, I'll sit out here with you. Let's watch TV. I turn the TV on and she starts screaming, he's in my head. He's in my head. And she runs to the room and she's like grabbing her head and rocking back and forth. So I was like, who's in your head? What is happening? What is it? My boyfriend, I guess because he was nervous, he starts making food because he's nervous. So I'm like, all right. And so she stops screaming and she sits straight up. And then she stands up and she starts walking and she starts talking like she's walking on her tiptoes, talking in this deep voice and saying, you could pray to any God that you want to. And it didn't, in my mind, I was like, she can have this house. I'm out. Like, I took off running outside. I'm on the phone with the police. Y'all need to get here. That's not my house no more. My homegirl stays in the same apartments as me. So I'm knocking on her door at 5 a.m. She come down. I'm like, listen, she's in the house. My boyfriend is in there talking about he's hungry. I'm pretty sure she done turned him into an Avenger and they in the house levitating right now. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm scared. I was like, I don't know what's going on. So me and her walk back and she's so loud that I can hear her all the way downstairs. She's shouting in this deep voice. She's saying prayers. Her voice sounds really sharp. And before that happened, before I saw her on the Ring door, I woke up and I was hearing something in my head and it sounded very dark and it was very sharp. And I didn't know my boyfriend was awake and he was like, I'm hearing some shit in my head too. So we were both hearing like crazy, weird, and that's not something like, so I was like, something is in here, but I don't know what it is. Yeah. So back to that, she's screaming and shouting. So he comes outside with his food because he didn't cooked and needed to eat because he's nervous. And he's like, I recorded everything that was happening. I was like, you wasn't scared? He was like, I was praying and she was staying away from me and she went in the room and shut the door. And so the police got there. She locked us out of the house, but you could just hear her yelling and screaming and just like, it was crazy. So eventually she came and unlocked the door. And I'm showing the police like, listen, this is like my third time having y'all out here. Like at this point, well, we can't tell her, we can't take her nowhere if she's not saying that she's going to kill herself or, kill some of y'all. So I'm like, so I let them listen to the recordings and they're like, we know that she's acting different, but we can't force that. So they end up taking her to the hospital and she calls me from the hospital on her phone and she's like, I need to come home. No, ma'am, you're not coming back here. So her sister is like, hey, she's in an Uber. I just got a notification. So I had her location and I'm noticing that the car stops on the highway. So I was like, oh my God, what if she didn't ask this man who is God? And if he said it's not her, like I'm thinking all types of stuff. So I'm telling her sister, like, she's doing something to that man, like something is going on. Sure enough, she ended up choking this man out, like literally. So he had to pull over. A Uber driver. Yeah, and it was an older man. So he's getting choked out from, she's sitting behind him. So he ended up pulling over to a hospital and that's how she ended up going to jail because, now you done assaulted this man. And so I got in contact. Her dad finally got there. And so I'm letting them know like, yo, I've been documenting that this has been a possession/mental health crisis that's happening. And I have all of these, audios and things like that. And, I'm just trying to let them know. So she was so out of it that she was sitting in her cell, just like sitting down and just staring out the door. They were like, we can't get her to eat. We can't get her to drink. Her eyes had bags under them. She was pale. She was just sitting there for days. They were like, she doesn't lay down. Like literally, she's sitting in one spot just staring. So they finally let her dad come back there. And she was doing the rosary cross thing all over herself and calling him Satan. And just like, he was like, that's not my daughter. Like she was talking in a deep voice. It was very, very strange. And she basically sat in jail for about almost a month, really, because she refused. She could have gotten out, but she was so out of there that they couldn't force her to leave. So they ended up taking her to the psych part. And they were calling me trying to figure out like what triggered this. And I was like, she did some form of magic and whatever she did was bigger and darker than what she could handle. I don't know what she did.
Did she ever recover?
Yeah, she's recovering.
Plot twist. Y'all still live together?
No. She's recovering, but it's taken a lot. Like, it's taken a lot. She's definitely not the same. She's healing, but she is not the same. And when I talked to her about it, which, I asked her for permission to share this story, she doesn't remember a lot of the stuff. Like, when I tried to share some of the audio, she doesn't want to listen to it. She doesn't want to get re-triggered, but it just goes to say, there is a thin line, like getting into magic that you don't know about and you're not qualified and you don't want to get a mentor and you just looking at stuff online can be very dangerous. You do not know. And I'm not talking about hoodoo basics. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about other levels, deeper stuff where you're doing rituals with symbols and things like that. If you're not qualified to do that and you don't have guidance, do not do that because you definitely can be susceptible to something like that. On top of that, you don't know how your mental health is for real, So you could think that you have a solid mind, but then stuff starts to happen and now you're tying it to like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. You're not supposed to be doing magic out of being emotional. So you're mad. Now you want to, do a hex or you have to be very level-headed in order to do that because you doing something out of emotion, then you're going to end up regretting it and that's going to make it backfire on you even quicker. So there has to be guidance, because possession can look like psychosis. In some cultures, like schizophrenia and all of that is a spiritual, kind of like a spiritual split. Like you have multiple entities in you or are attaching themselves onto you. But here in Western culture, it's like, you know, you get medicine for that. But in other cultures, that's like real, like shamans have to help you to retrieve your soul back from something like that.
It's so crazy you say that, because the whole time I'm thinking, like, is this a possession?
Mm-hmm.
Is it mental health? And it's so hard to tell the difference because they're so similar, right? Like if something is taking over you, we just look at it as like, oh, that motherfucker crazy, right? I don't even think like you. It would guess it would have to be an experience, like you said. You're hearing these voices change. There's been accounts where people say they speak languages that they didn't speak.
Absolutely.
These type of things. I think that is when you can kind of be like, okay, possession.
But even down to, what was the book that I was reading? It talks about how the subconscious mind is, I'm going to loosely say like the devil. How can I put it? It's like it's a mental health thing, but something else has taken over. You get what I mean? Like,
you mean like with speaking a different language?
Yeah, like you can.
If you heard enough Spanish and you've locked it in your subconscious, but consciously you're not able to access it, and you mentally go into a zone where it seems like it's mental illness or crazy, but you unlocked what you actually had.
It's unlimited back there. But when you do psychedelics, you're able to see so much more that's really around you because you're unlocking something in your subconscious brain.
Have you?
No.
You ain't telling me?
I'm very scary. I don't do, first of all, I've already seen enough just being in the line of work that I have done and experienced. So I don't even play like that with myself. That's not something that, I'm a Virgo and I'm very much like to be in control because I don't know if I'll come back. So I don't play them type of games at all.
I say all the time though, like we were talking about this even before the podcast about crackheads. Like crackheads is walking a thin line between, are they really crazy or did they unlock something that we can't see?
I think that they're animating. Okay, so this is my theory, right? So, when a artist goes, I got in the booth and I had this song and I don't even know where it came from. So my theory is there are a lot of spirits that are stuck here because they didn't fulfill a purpose.
Okay.
That could have been a song. It could have been a movie. It could have been whatever. And they're looking for a channel or a conduit to get their story out, whether that is through a song or a book or whatever. If you are an open channel, then you're giving a voice to the voiceless. So it's a precious job to be able to be a channeler. What?
So we ain't coming up with songs. It's dead
No,
people.
some of them can come up. Okay, let's say like with Michael Jackson or Prince. Like they have all of these songs, but then there's that one song that they're like, I don't even feel like that was me.
Okay.
That could
sense.
be,
I got you.
Yeah, that could be coming from somewhere else. Yeah. So there are a lot of spiritual energies that need to be animated. If you're on crack, right?
Go ahead.
If you're on crack, okay, you're opening yourself up to something to where you're animating a spirit that is around. So when they be talking and they're not making no sense, you don't know what spirit is being animated in them.
Okay,
and they're seeing a different dimension that we can't see with our own eyes. So they sound crazy to us whole time. They seeing some shit. They actually might be real right. And you sitting here talking about, he crazy.
Let me take it a step further. To start the show off, we talked about imaginary friends.
Yeah.
They just unlocked what we had unlocked as a child.
They got all the friends. Yes.
All the friends is crazy.
They do.
I mean, I've literally seen crackheads. Like I grew up in LA. And we got something called Skid Row in LA. I've seen a lot of crazy things from people. And I'm not going to say it's just crack. It could be any drug, whatever, heroin, it could be whatever, right? I mean, I've seen literally like fist fights and they're fighting the air. But
So you
are
think
they really fighting the air, right?
Yeah.
That thing
They
could be a
protecting you.
9-foot
You don't even know
monster.
that they protecting you from that thing jumping on you. They out there going fisticuff to war to make sure that it don't go home with you.
We might need more crackheads.
And that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is if you made the choice and now, you know, you might be a defender.
You might be lining yourself up.
Yeah, to defend. You don't even know.
War.
And I'm not even being funny because I really feel like this is real. It sounds crazy, but for real, it's like, yeah.
Hold on, that might be the greatest crackhead explanation I've ever heard.
I'm trying to tell you something good.
They might be fighting a war we can't see.
Fighting things we can't see. The strongest soldier.
Shout out to some of the crackheads.
And that's how you transmute and give purpose, okay?
That's
so
true.
don't sleep on the crackheads that, you know, if you got
kids,
family members.
Y'all don't do no drugs.
Definitely
We're not
don't do that.
condoning doing drugs. We just kind of putting the picture to it all. So
Don't do that. But if you're already there.
Suit up and boot up.
Yeah. I fight him. I'm like, get him. What is it?
All right, I want to end with this. Do you have, I mean, you've had a number of messages I think that are really good for people, but is there something that you would want the people to know about yourself that they wouldn't learn from tonight, or just a message to the people watching?
Okay, first, I wrote a children's book called Your Own Universe that basically introduces the planets to your child. It's basically like an intro to astrology, but it's just giving characteristics to each planet. So when the child sees, oh, I'm a Virgo, it's Professor Mercury, and this is what it does, and that's a quality that I have. I feel that, because I used to be a teacher, and I always thought, like, we could get a lot further if we knew what our astrology charts were, because we'll know exactly what we're supposed to be doing, what we're good at, and we wouldn't waste time going to college for things that we don't really want to go for, but we're going because our families want us to. We would, you know, not get dead-end jobs and things like that when you know this is specifically what you're supposed to be doing. So I wrote that book as an intro to help kids to have an awareness of this is what I am. This is my characteristic. And then you can get deeper into like your whole natal chart. So I wrote a book called Your Own Universe /You. And you can order that on my website, guidedsoulwork.com. A message that I would want to give is there is no right or wrong way to live life. It's all about experience. Don't be too hard on yourself. You have the ability to tap into God, and God is within you. And yeah, you don't need to always outsource. It's okay to look for guidance, but you don't always need to outsource. We have all of the answers. You just need to sit. Sitting in silence is one of the most healing things that you can do. That is the way that you hear God. That is the way that you heal your chakras and realign yourself, is sitting in silence. It's so simple, but there's so much noise in the world. You go on social media first thing when you wake up in the morning, you're on the phone, you're talking. Nobody sits in silence the way that they need to. So having solitude and sitting in silence, that's a great way to heal yourself. And whatever flows, you might cry, you might yell, you might get mad because you've been avoiding that voice that's inside of you that is telling you exactly what's wrong with you and exactly what you need to do. Do that. And eat more fruit. Drink more water, spring water.
There y'all go. Other than that, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Follow me, Solaris the Hii Priestess.
Yep, go follow her. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. You gave some good knowledge, especially closing out. So I'm grateful for that. I hope y'all are too. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned. Stay horrible.